I talk about my all-time favorite fragrance, the one I will never forget. This is Clémence, I talk about fragrance, so welcome back. There's something I realized with the time is that I always come back to the same fragrances. I think I discover a lot of stuff, but my favorite are still always in my hand and the one I use the most. To start with this video, I cannot not talk about L'Orchestre Parfum and Piano Santal for sure, and I'm happy to tell you that this video is in collaboration with them. If you know my channel since a long time, you know that my all-time favorite, one of my all-time favorite, always been Piano Santal, and I have a soft spot on the brand L'Orchestre Parfum. And I'm happy to tell you also that it's my third bottle of Piano Santal that I emptied to tell you how much I love this scent. If you don't know L'Orchestre Parfum, it's a French brand that is pairing music and fragrances. And I think a lot of perfume tells you how creating a symphony is really similar to creating a fragrance. There's a structure, head, heart, trail, and it's a little bit the same when you create a music. What you can hear in the background is the music that goes very nicely with Piano Santal. It's a piano song, of course, and I have a really soft spot on this piano song, by the way, because I've got the vinyl of L'Orchestre Parfum and I play this when I want to chill out, I would say. And being a very anxious person, trust me, is very useful. Anyway, it's my all year round fragrance, really. This scent is the scent that I use the most when I'm like, oh, I don't know what to wear, or I want to feel sensual, or I want to feel charismatic without giving too much. This is really the scent I go for. Piano Santal is of course a sandalwood fragrance, so you can really smell the dry woody notes that are soft and cozy, and this is why I love so much sandalwood as well. It's also encapsulated in a milky tone, lactonic tones, and it's like a warm milky tone. So I was in love from this fragrance before the trend was into very cozy, fluffy and milky scent. This always stayed in my favorite for so long now. I love also the fact that when you apply it on your skin, it smells nearly like heated skin, really. And I love that. When it dries down, you have a lot of ambroxan, and ambroxan dry down in something that is really warm, nearly amber-like, and it gives something a little bit sensual to the scent. That's actually why I wear this fragrance on daytime. When I'm going out on daytime, blah blah blah, meeting with friends, I would wear this fragrance because I feel it's a little bit edgy, but also so wearable and so loved by so many people as well, and you can understand why. It's easy, but at the same time complex. A lot of people always complimented me on that fragrance, but more than that, the ambroxan dry down, ambery dry down gives something a little bit mysterious. It smells very clean as well, so it's that trend of, you know, there was this trend of clean girl aesthetic, blah 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 blah. It's very unisex because it's a woody scent with lactonic tone, so everybody can wear that, but I do feel that on women it gives something very sophisticated. As soon as you put like woody notes on a woman, it's so sophisticated. I just love that. It would always stay one of my all year round fragrance because I don't think it gives any season. I don't think it gives like any particular occasion. I wore that on date, I wore that on daytime, I wore that in the morning, I wore that on any kind of occasion. It's my most universal fragrance, but it's also quite complicated and it makes it very unique. I'm always so happy to advise it from you because I know a lot of people like it. I know also people that are not really into niche fragrances like these fragrances. I can talk about my mom, for example. As soon as she smelled that fragrance, she was in love as well, and she didn't know any niche fragrance before. It's a family love for this fragrance. Great news! I have the Clemence 10 discount code that is active from this video, so you can use that to get 10% on L'Orchestre Parfum on everything that you would like. On L'Orchestre Parfum, you also have some discovery kit if you want to try the brand. You know how much I love the fragrance from Ambre Cello, Piano Santal, Encens Saxa that I wear a lot actually at the moment. So I highly recommend you to try the brand. I'm sure you're going to find one of your favorite in there. That's down the rest of the video and the rest of my favorites. So In the category most complimented fragrance, I have to start with my signature fragrance that is Miller Scherzo. I always keep that because people really recognize me by that scent. It's like a sweet rosewood fragrance, so kind of classic, you smelled that before. But I love the fact that it has a very juicy grapefruit opening that is very powerful and dries down into some sweet notes. So some would say that maybe it's a little bit more feminine because it's got a lot of sweetness and rose. I think I wear that more during nighttime because I think I get really complimented. But for example, my boyfriend really loves that when I wear that during the summer, which surprise, but I think it's the fruity notes. And my most complimented scent ever has to be Gozo Jeroboam. I finished my bottle. I'm very sad. But this has to be one of the biggest surprises I had, and it was love at first sniff, really. I love the fact that this smells a bit like cotton candy, but more like, it smells like a Barbie doll. You know, if you ever had like a Barbie doll when you were a kid and you smelled the skin, you know, it smells like this, really. It has a high plasticky tone, so I would say not everyone is gonna love that, but I always got complimented. And this is the fragrance that when I wear it, somebody finished by buying it. And it actually happened. I can tell you that some people bought it after me, after they smell it on me. It's really strong. It leaves an amazing sillage. You don't need to spray a lot. It's just there. It's really present. I think it's really fun. So I wear that really on party. And because it's so small, I always have it in my handbag. But yeah. Next category, the men's fragrance. So what are my favorite men's fragrance of all time? Again, no surprise if you follow me since a long time. You know that in a niche category, I have to talk about Honeywood. Oh my god, half of it. That's my boyfriend that uses it a lot. It's really like a gentleman scent, but made in a very modern way. You know, when you smell a chypre, a gentleman scent with a bit of leather and citrus at the opening, really, this is a classic gentleman scent. So for some people, it smells a bit vintage. It does have a bit that vintage echo. It's not a wood that is really too much animalic. It does have it a little bit because I think it gives something very sexy. It's one of my sexiest fragrance for men. I don't know. I do feel like, especially after a certain age, like you have to have like some kind of a gentleman, very charismatic and serious fragrance. And that's definitely the scent. You have honey, obviously, but it's not a sticky honey. It's really perfectly blended in the scent. It's a masterpiece to me. I really love it on men. I think every time like Edwin wears this fragrance, I want to go to a fancy restaurant. But the designer, of course, no surprise, Terre has always been my favorite. A blend of orange, pepper, just black pepper, and vetiver, so a grass earthy scent with pinch of orange that is very sparkling. I would say for me it's like a sporty chic fragrance. You wear that when you want to feel comfortable, but it's also very appealing, a great projection. I love the eau de toilette more than everything else. I like the parfum, I like the intense vetiver and stuff like that, but for me the best, you say, the eau de toilette is the ones that I can smell the most, that is the most distinctive, and I love the sporty vibe of that fragrance. I think it gives something a little bit spontaneous, and I really love that. Let's go in the category fresh and cozy, because of course, like, there's some fresh fragrance that always been in my favorite. And when I think about the fragrance that I love the most as fresh, aromatic, especially aromatic, I think about A MidSummer Dream by Roja, because it's so aromatic that probably be a little bit more mass appealing for men. But I particularly love it on me because I think it gives me something like very classy without giving too much. It's not like snobbish, but it's very classy. I love the aromats in there. I love the fact that also it dries down into something quite resinous and waxy, because you have some resins. It's very invigorating, a little bit green as well, and earthy, but I love that. I love this fragrance. I think, again, it's something quite simple, but it's done in such a beautiful way. You can really smell the quality of ingredients. Sorry to bother you with quality of ingredient, but it does. Like, when you smell that, you can smell every ingredient separately, and for me, this is really something qualitative when you can have that. It changed on my skin. I love it. More cozy is Commodity Milk Personal. You're definitely more into synthetic flat ingredient. Forget about the depth, forget about those things, but surprisingly, I'm absolutely in love from that fragrance. It gives me like a marshmallow fluffy tone. I love to layer it. I love to wear it on its own. It's really like, it feels like a pillow, this fragrance. I do really love more the personal rather than the classic milk that is a bit more heavy on the milk. But this one it has that fluffy aspect that no other fragrance has, and I really love that. Next, in the designer category, what are my favorites? So of course we're going to talk more about ladies fragrance on this one, but my favorite on the designer range hasn't changed since many years. It has to be Narciso Poudre. This is one of my always go-to. It's the kind of fragrance I wear like when I'm meeting with my girls, or you know, like meeting with my girls. You know, I'm having a coffee outside. I don't want to look complicated, but I'm just like, you know, like it's kind of casual to me, but I love the fact that it smells like a blusher. It smells like a makeup product. It's always been one of my favorite designers because they do powder fragrance, yes. Also a bit different from the rest of the fragrance that you will smell in the designer range. So this one always stays in my heart. It will always stay in my collection. I love that. Number 5, it's not gonna please everyone, but I always have a little bottle of number 5 in my bag. It's a haldehydic fragrance. It smells like champagne with jasmine and rose, so really the most classic fragrance you can ever smell, a little bit vintage for some people. I love to wear that when I'm wearing like a tracksuit or when I'm traveling and I'm not at my best physically, you know. I really love to wear that fragrance because it creates a really nice contrast. Next is the category of party and date fragrance. When I talk about date, I'm really talking like about you going to a restaurant or a lounge bar or something like that. That's what I do on a date or whatever. I really want to impress people. I really want everybody to smell me. Then I will take my Imperial Peacock by Alexandre. I've been a really great supporter of the brand since many years. A few years ago, I put in my favorite Majestic Jardin, that is a cherry narguilé smoky scent that I still love dearly. But I'm wearing that much more often now to party because I feel it has something like really strange. A mix of rhubarb, vanilla tonka bean, and it's really something that is very special. I never smell a kind of fragrance that has a similar DNA of that. And I love the fact that those fragrances leaves a heavy projection, heavy sillage. Obviously the bottle is beautiful. I'm just a bit sad that I cannot put this massive bottle in my handbag when I'm going to a party. So usually I've got my Gozo in my bag anyway. And a new entrance in my favorite of all time fragrances has to be Camelia. I keep talking about this fragrance, it's insane to be honest. It's just simplicity but made it perfect. It's a full-on Camelia fragrance with dragon fruit, so fruity floral, really nothing special when you think about it, but for me it was love at first sight. I wear that so often. I love the smell. I think it's really addictive. When I don't know what to wear and I don't really know the people that I'm gonna meet on an event or stuff like that or whatever it is, and I want some kind of a mass appealing fragrance that everybody's gonna love, Camelia K. I love this fragrance. My last category would be for work purposes. So when I talk about work is that I used to work in an office before and I needed some non-offensive fragrance, but I still like to stand out from the crowd. I want a clean fragrance. I want something that people would smell, but it's not going to annoy everyone. And because, you know, like if you work like in a workplace, wherever you go, in an office or whatever, you don't want people to be like, whenever you arrive and be like, oh my god, no, what did she spray today? And the fragrance that for me was the best, that smelled clean and fresh, is Parisian Musc. I think a clean musk anyway is the best when you go at work and stuff like that, especially for women. For men, you can go to aromatic, blah, blah, blah. But for women, I think a clean musk is very elegant, very classy. You don't give too much, but you smell amazing and a little bit different as well. It's really strange. It's not notified in the note, but I always feel a strong fig note. So even though there's no fig, it's my favorite fig. It's really professional to me, and also something that I can wear all year round without thinking too much. I would always advise this one. I'm nearly at the end. I'm going to be very sad when it's going to end. Voilà guys, it's your time now to tell me what is your favorite fragrance of all time. You can tell for each category, but you can tell me like one of your favorite fragrance you always go back to. For me, this is my list, so please don't come at me if I forgot one of the that I talked a lot this year. It's really difficult to choose favorite fragrance, and you can see there's still a lot for me, but I think it's not like I can pick like one fragrance and be like, oh, this is my favorite of all time. It's more like I have a fragrance for each occasion, except Piano Santal that I think goes with any occasion. That's why it's my first choice, really, Piano Santal. A huge thank you also to L'Orchestre Parfum for trusting me, talking about the brand since so many years now. You have my discount code Clementine that is active, and I'm gonna give you like a snippet as well because I'm gonna talk about L'Orchestre Parfum quite more next month because apparently there's launching something new, and I will tell you about it soon. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here also, that it would be very helpful and I would be very thankful. Guys, I wish you a lovely day. See you soon. Bye.
Je t'emmène dans mon paradis bleu.